Hello everyone, good morning. Myself Muralidhar Reddy. I'm a DevOps consultant and solution architect. Now we are going to discussing about what is Docker network, why we use Docker network, and also we can see the demo as well. So for that one, right here we have a DevOps 0 to Hero series, day 32. I already written the documentation as well. What is Docker networks and the types of Docker network, everything. First, we can see that, and then we can go to the demo as well. First of all, what is Docker network? Docker network is a virtual network that allows Docker containers to communicate with each other and with external systems. This particular Docker network, if you have two different containers, right, that will be communicate. And also, if you want to be set up that communication external systems also, this Docker network will be used. And it provides the isolation, security, and connectivity for containers running on the same host or multiple hosts. Let's take example. If you have a containers are running in the same server or with the different servers also, it will be, into this particular Docker network, it will provide that isolation, security, and connectivity. Understand, right? And types of Docker networks. There are multiple types of Docker network. First of all, bridge network, guys. By default, one is a bridge network only. This bridge network, default network for containers on single host. Containers get a private IP, can talk to each other. Containers get a private IP, can talk to each other. Understand, right? Next one is host network. It removes the network isolation. Containers share the host network stack. No separate IP for the container. When you use this particular host, right, it won't be assigned any separate IP. It will be used that on network host stack only, that particular host network stack only. And non-network, if you don't want to be set up that any network access, especially useful for security and isolation, then we'll be go with the non-network. And overlay network as well. It enables communication across multiple Docker hosts. Used with the Docker Swarm, we have a Docker Swarm and also manual configuration. If you have any, we'll be using this particular overlay network. And next one, custom bridge. In case if you want to be user-defined bridge that allows container name-based DNS resolution and better control. Usually, honestly, I'm telling, in Docker network, default will be go with the bridge network only. We don't require to set up any host, none, overlay, or customized bridge one. Okay, clear, right? Next one is why we use Docker network. First of all, service discovery. Here, containers can communicate using container names in a custom network. Using the particular container name, right? Using that one, it will be, it will be communicate. Okay. Isolation. It will be prevent containers from talking to each other unless explicitly allowed. Explicitly allowed, otherwise it won't be talked. You can prevent that particular one. And security, custom networks can be secured using firewalls or by limiting access. And scalability, overlay network helps scale across multiple Docker hosts. Again, I'm repeating, we always go with the default, that is a bridge network only. We don't require, we won't be use that host network now and overlay some other things. Understand, right? Now you got idea, right? What is the major uses of Docker network? Docker network, if you want to be communicate containers, then we'll be use this particular Docker network. Next one is we can work with the Docker network commands. So first of all, Docker network ls command, it will be display all the networking, what are the things available. And also if you want to be create the network, you can use Docker network create command. And if you want to be see the information about the specific network, we can use Docker network inspect command, and you need to provide the network name. In case if you want to be connect to the container, you can use Docker network connect, network name, and container name or ID. And if you want to be disconnected container from network, what you can do, we can use Docker network disconnect, network name, container name or ID. Next one is if you want to be remove that particular network, what you can do, you can use Docker network rm command, network name. And if you want to be remove unused one, if you remember in Docker images also, Docker containers also, we have a prune command, right? To remove that unused images, unused containers. Similarly, if you want to be remove unused networks also, we can use Docker network prune command. We can see the demo so that you will get some idea. For that one, right? Here you can go with here. And here, first of all, you can give Docker network. Once you give the Docker network enter, it will give the subcommands. Whatever I have explained, right? Connect if you want to be connect the container, if you want to be create the network, if you want to disconnect the container, if you want to see the information about container, if you want to see that list of network, ls command, prune command, if you want to be remove unused networks, rm command, if you want to be remove one or more networks. Understand, right? Now, what we can do here, we have a Docker PS, the container is running. Now what you can do, we can create our customized one and then we can attach that particular network to this particular container. Okay, fine. Now you can go here and first of all, Docker network ls command. Docker network ls command, it will be display what are the networks available. If you see here, we have a network ID, name and driver scope. And as I said, right, as I said, we have a bridge network, host network and none network. These are the networks we have. The particular specific drivers are bridge, host, null only, and the scope is local only. Local means within the server only. Understand, right? And here you have to remember by default is bridge network only. Example, I'm going to create a one network. Where exactly it will be created? Let's see that. Docker network create. Example, I'm giving that net one. Okay, now you can enter. If you see here, when you create that network, net one, that is a network, it is generated the one network ID. Okay, now here you can go with Docker network ls command. And if you observe here, this particular network for net one is created, but it is created, the driver is, as I said, it is the default network, that is bridge network only. The driver it is using bridge only, default one only it is using. Understand, right? And also I'm going to create another one, Docker network create. Example, I'm creating the DevOps. Now it is created. Now I can give it Docker network ls command. If you observe here, this particular DevOps network also, it is created under bridge network or bridge driver only. And here you can see that. Understand, right? Any questions now? Now fine, super. Now we have created the two networks. One is net one and another one is DevOps. Now what you can do, we can check that information about the specific network. For that one, you can give it Docker network inspect command. Docker network inspect command, and then you have to give the network ID or network name. Example, I'm giving the network name is DevOps. Now you can enter. If you see here, when you give this, what is the name of the particular network? What is the ID when it was created? What is the scope? What is the driver? Whether enable IPv6 or not. Everything can able to see it. Internal, everything we can see it here. So what is the subnet? What is the gateway ID? Everything you can able to see it here. Understand, right? If you want to be see the information about the specific network, what we can do? We can use Docker network inspect command, and then you can give the network name. Clear, right? Fine. And now here we have a container is running. That is fine, well and good. Now what you can do? We created that DevOps network. The particular DevOps network, how do we connect to this particular existing container? For that one, Docker network. Before going to do, right, first what I'm going to do, Docker container inspect, and then first you can give the container ID. First I'm checking the container information. Now you can enter. Now if you, sorry, container inspect. Okay, I give the S extra. Sorry, INSP. Now if you see here, you can see that. And here you have to remember, as I said, by default is bridge network only. Network settings, if you see here network settings, we have a bridge network. Now what you can do, once you add it, we can, here you can see that bridge network only. Once we can add it, right, here you can see that extra another one, that is the DevOps network also. It is added to this particular container. Okay, default one is bridge network only. When you create the container, it will be under bridge driver only, that bridge network only. Okay. Now what you can do, you can go here. Docker PS now, and then Docker network connect command. Docker network connect, and here you have to give the network name. The network name is DevOps, and then I'm going to give the container ID or container name, whatever. You can give anything, container name or container ID. What this command will do, right? Docker network connect. I'm going to connect this particular network DevOps, and which container we are going to be connect. That is this particular network container. Okay. Now you can enter. If you see here, enter. Now if you see here, it is connected. And how do we verify whether it is connected or not? As I said earlier, you can use the Docker container inspect command. If you see here, Docker container inspect command, and you can give the container ID. Now you can enter. Now if you see here, if you go up little bit in the network, earlier we have only bridge network. Now here you can see that DevOps network also, it is added to the particular existing container. Existing container. Understand, right? Again, I'm repeating, using Docker network connect command, we can connect the particular, whatever we have a network name, right? It will connect it to the container. And if you want to be disconnect the container, what you can do, we can use Docker network disconnect command. Before going to disconnect, right? What I'm going to do here, I'm trying to delete the network. For that one, if you go here, Docker network rm command, and then here I'm giving that network name is DevOps. Usually this particular DevOps we already attached to the container, right? Connected to the container. Now I'm trying to delete without disconnect. Now what is happening? If you see here, 1 second, you can run it again. If you see here, error response from daemon, error while removing the network DevOps ID, this particular ID has active endpoint. Active endpoint means it is already connected. It is already connected. Understand, right? It is already connected. And also you may ask question, Murli, how do I know whether this particular network is connected to the specific container or not? Okay, I know that just now we have attached, that's why I went to that container inspect command, we saw that. But if you are not aware what you can do, right? Once you are connected this particular network to the container, right? This particular network, you can give the inspect command, it will be display that. Example, Docker network inspect, and then here I'm giving that, what is the name? DevOps. Now if you see here you can see that container, which container it is attached, here you can able to see it. Instead of checking the container information, what you can do, you can inspect the network. The particular network knows what are the containers it is attached here. In this particular networks level, here you can see that here this is the container ID. Okay, clear, right? Any questions now? Now you understood, right? How do we verify? Fine. Now what you have to do, if you want to be delete, first you need to be detached, disconnect. For that one, here you can go with Docker. First you can give the PS command. Now here Docker network, okay, disconnect. Docker network disconnect, and then here you need to give the network name. What is the network name? I'm giving the DevOps, and then here you can give that specific container ID. Now if you see here what is happening, right? Whatever we attached earlier, this particular DevOps to the container, right? That is detached, disconnected. Now if you go and check it here, Docker network inspect DevOps. Now you can enter here. If you see here, currently we don't have any container configuration. The reason is we have disconnected, right? That's why it is deleted. Docker network inspect command. Okay, clear, right? Any questions now? Any questions now? Now final command is, how do we remove the unused networking? Unused networking is nothing but you have created the networks, but you haven't attached connected to any of the container, then those networks will be deleted. Now if you see here, Docker network ls command. If you see here we have a total 5. 3 is the default one. 2, whatever we have created 2, right? One is the DevOps and second one net one. These 2 are created, but we haven't connected to the any of the container. Now what is happening, right? When you use this particular Docker network prune command, Docker network prune command, Docker network prune command. Now you can enter. Here it will ask yes or no. Give the. Now if you see here, it is deleted the net1 and DevOps. It is deleted the net1 and DevOps. Understand, right? When you use this particular Docker network prune command, it is deleted the net1 and DevOps. The reason, whatever we created, net1 and DevOps, we haven't connected to the any of the container. That's why it is deleted. And here you may ask question, Murli, we are already having that 3, right? Why it is not deleted? Here you have to remember, when you created, I mean, this particular network default, it is coming bridge network, host network, and null, right? That is a none network, right? So those three is default one. Default one, it won't be deleted even though if you use the Docker network prune command. Understand, right? Any questions? Now you got idea, right? So these are the commands is available in the network. And one thing you have to remember, in real time, we may not be use this particular Docker network. The reason, 99.99% we always deploy the application in the Kubernetes. We won't be directly run it in the container in the direct EC2 instance. Okay, that is the one thing. Second thing is we always go with the bridge network only. We won't require any other networks. That is the two things. Understand, right? But in entry level, they may ask question, hey, do you have idea about Docker network? Yes, you have to tell. Can you tell me what are the commands is available? How do we connect the particular network to the specific container? How do we check it? How do we check the information about the network? How do we delete that? How do we delete the unused networks? They may ask the question. So that is the reason you should be aware of. Again, I'm repeating, in real time, 99.99% we won't be using this particular networking concept. We always go with the default one only. But still, you should be aware of, if they ask question in the entry level, you should be explain them. That is the reason I have covered this topic. Understand, right? Any questions now? Now we are going to discussing about working with Docker volumes. Let's see the demo so that you will get some idea. So for that one, right, here we have a DevOps 0 to Hero series, day 32. I already mentioned that working with Docker volumes. First, we can understand the theory part, and then we can go with the practical. First of all, what is Docker volume? Docker volume is a persistent storage mechanism used by Docker to store data outside of container writable layer. Example, you have an application, you are running the container. Inside the container, you have written the some configuration and application written the some data inside the container. If we delete the container, what will happen, right? If you delete the container, you will be lost the data. So instead of that one, what we can do, using Docker volumes, we can set them, we can set the persistent data specific path. So what is happening, right? Even though the container restarted, container deleted, so the data still will be exist in your system. Okay, we can see that so that you will get some idea. And it is allows data to persistent even when the container is stopped or restarted or deleted, still the data will be there. And why we use Docker volumes, especially data persistence, as I said, keeps data even after container restarts or rebuilds. Rebuilds means once you delete and create a right, even it will be there. The data will be there in your, it won't be lost the data. Understand, right? And next, isolation. Decouples container life cycles from data. It means, as I said, restarting or removing the container won't delete the data. Still existing that specific volume path. Example, you have running the Tomcat. If Tomcat delete, right, whatever data inside, it will be Tomcat container delete, whatever data, it will be delete permanently. Instead of that one, what we can do, we can mount that particular Tomcat path to the volume. Then what will happen, right, even though someone is deleted the container, that if you create a new container, automatically the data will be exist. It won't be deleted. Okay. And here you can say performance wise, optimize for speed and efficiency using Docker managed storage backend, and easily share the data between multiple containers using the same value. Whatever we have a value, right? Using the same value, we can use the multiple containers as well. And Docker volumes, we have I think 5 to 6 commands we have. One is Docker volume ls command. It will be display what are the values we have. And the Docker volume create command. If you want to be create the value, we can create it. Inspect command. If you want to be see the information about volume, we can use that inspect command. And if you want to be attach that particular volume to the container, we can use the -v option. And then we have to give the volume name, whatever container inside the container path you have to provide, and then image name. And then if you want to remove a volume, we can remove that using the rm command. And if you want to be delete the unused values, it means like you have created the values, but we haven't attached to that particular values to the containers. We can use Docker value prune command. Okay. Now there are different types of mounts in Docker. One is volumes. These are highly recommended, managed by Docker. The particular values will be stored under varlib Docker values. Varlib Docker values, under varlib Docker values, it will be stored the our values related everything. And next one, bind mounts. It is mapped to the host path to the container path. Host path, whatever host path to the particular container path. More flexible but less portable. More flexible only, but less portable. You can't share it from one to another one. But values we can do, right? As multiple containers, we can attach the same values only. And TMPFS, it means temporary file system or temporary in-memory file system, we can call it as. This particular stored inside the particular container memory only. Once delete the container, right? What is happening, right? The data will be lost. Usually this particular one, we will be used for sensitive data or for performance related one. We will be use this particular TMPFS related one. But always 99% will be use the volumes only. We'll be discuss the volume concept so that you'll get some idea. We can see the demo so that you'll get more idea. You can go here. First thing, before going to discussing volumes, what I did, right? I have created, I pulled the Docker image and I have created the container. This is our Tomcat container. If you go here, again, I can show you Docker images, Docker images. Here you can see the Tomcat image, Tomcat 7. And then if you go to the Docker PS command, and here you can see that this is our Tomcat one. First one, right? First one is the Tomcat container. Now I'm going to insert the container using Docker execc-it. Don't give the daemon set, don't give it when you are going to insert the container. And container ID, I'm giving the bash. If you see here, as I said, the default Tomcat path is user local Tomcat. When you use that base image Tomcat, right? The Tomcat default path is user local Tomcat only. Now, if you see here, ls command. Here I have created one file that is a Murli file. Inside the container, I have created one file that is Murli file, and also I'm going to create the another file, Muni file. Okay. Now, if you see here ls command, here we have a Murli file and also Muni file is available. Okay. Both files are created. Understand, right? Now the thing is, we have created Muni file is created and Murli file is created. Now, if you delete this container, what is happened, right? Whatever we have added, example I'm telling, we have added Murli and Muni, both data will be lost. And also if you have any Tomcat configuration, everything will be lost. Instead of losing the data, what we can do, if you want to be maintain the persistent data, we can use the Docker volumes. Understand, right? Now, example, if you go here, you can give the exit command. Yeah, now Docker PS command. If you see here, still running. Now what I'm doing here, right? I'm kill the particular container. Now once you delete it, right? It is deleted. If you delete it, you can't revert back, right? Whatever we have written that particular Murli and Muni, we lost the data. So instead of losing the data, we can use that volume concept. We can mount the particular path so that even if you deleted the container, still the data will be existing in your volumes. Okay, we can see that. For that one, you can go here, Docker volume, just enter. If you see here we have a 5 commands: create command, inspect command, ls command, prune command, rm command. Create command, if you want to create any new value, we can use the create command. If you want to see the information about the particular value, we can use the inspect command. If you want to list out what are the values available, we can use ls command. And if you want to be do the prune command, it means unused values, you can use the prune command. If you want to be delete one or more values, you can use the rm command. Understand it? These are the commands available. We can see one by one. First of all, I'm checking the Docker volume ls command. When we give the Docker volume ls command, currently we don't have any values, default one. Here we have a which driver and volume and what is the name of the particular one. Everything it will be displayed here. First, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create the Docker volume. Example I'm giving here, Tomcat. Volume name I'm giving the Tomcat because I'm going to take the backup of the particular Tomcat. That's why just I'm giving that Tomcat, or just you can give that DevOps. Just I'm giving that DevOps. Sorry, Docker volume create, guys. You have to give the create command. Docker volume create and DevOps. Now, if you see here, DevOps volume is created. Now we need to be verified, right? How do we verify? Now here you can go with Docker volume ls command. When you give the Docker volume ls command, here you can see that what is the driver, whether it is local or not, it is local only. What is the volume name? That is the DevOps. Volume name is DevOps only. Understand, right? Any questions here? Now we have created the volume. Now what you have to do, we have created the volume. Now I wanted to see that information about the particular volume. What you can go here, Docker volume, and I am going to create another one as well. Docker volume create and Tomcat. Example, I'm giving the Tomcat. Now here you can check it, Docker volume ls command, and here you can see that both DevOps and Tomcat we have. Now what you can do, you can see that information about volume, Docker volume, inspect command, right? Inspect command for images, containers, network, and also volumes also we have. Okay, Docker volume inspect, and here you need to provide the volume name. What is the volume name? Example, I'm giving here DevOps. If you see here you can see that when it was created, what is the driver, what is the labels, what is the mount point. As I said, when you create any volume, the default path is varlib Docker volumes, varlib Docker volumes. Inside the Docker volumes, we have a DevOps volume. There we have underscore data. It will be stored everything. And what is the name, options, scope, everything you can able to see it here. Understand, right? What is the next command? We saw that ls command, create command, inspect command. In case if you want to be delete that specific value, what you can do, you can go here, Docker volume rm command. Rm is nothing but remove. And then here example, I'm giving the DevOps. I'm going to remove the DevOps one. Just enter here. If you see here, it is deleted the volume related to that particular one. Now you can go here, Docker volume ls command. Here you can see that only Tomcat. Understand, right? Clear. What I'm going to do now, we have a Tomcat volume. Now I'm going to create the container, the particular Tomcat container. During the creation part, I will be attach this particular value. Then I will be delete wantonly. I will be delete the container, whether the data will be existing or not in that particular container. The particular value we can verify. Before going to do, you can go to that varlib Docker volumes, varlib Docker volumes. This is our default path. One of the most important intro level. Hey Murli, can you please tell me what is the default volume path? Varlib Docker volumes. And here you can see that whatever we created a volumes, here we can see that example we have created Tomcat, right? Go to the Tomcat. Okay. Now here you can see that underscore data. Okay. And here you can see that ll command. Here currently we don't have any data inside the value. Now what we can do, we will be create the container. And when you are creating the container, during that time, we'll be attached this particular value. So it will be attached to that particular one. And then we will be delete the container, and we can verify that the data will be stored here in under the underscore data or not. We can verify it. Okay, fine. Now for that one, you can go here, Docker images. Okay, Docker run -it d -v. V means volume. Okay, and here you need to give the volume name. What is the volume name? Tomcat : and here you need to provide that inside the container which path you are going to be mounted. Remember, after you have to give the inside the container path. Before it is the volume name. Okay, here I'm giving that user local Tomcat. So I'm using that Tomcat base image, right? This particular Tomcat image, right? Tomcat default path is user local Tomcat. That's why I'm using that user local Tomcat only. Inside this particular user local Tomcat, whatever data, right? I'm going to mount to this particular Tomcat folder. Okay. Now here you can give that image ID. Now if you enter here, now if you see here, container is created. Now you can go ahead and check it here. Docker ps command, it is created. If you see here, Docker ps command, it is created, and also it is mounted whatever user local Tomcat, it is mounted to your Tomcat volume. Remember, again I'm repeating, don't confuse. Before is the Tomcat, after is the container path. Inside the container path, which path we are going to be mounted. Okay, fine. Now we can go here. I'm checking the Docker value, inspect command, and then here I'm giving the DevOps, sorry, Tomcat. Okay, and if you go and check it here, here you can see that information. Now we can where we need to check it whether it is mounted or not. You can go here, varlib Docker values. And here you can see that Tomcat value. Inside the Tomcat value, we have a underscore data. And here you can see that whatever inside the container, everything can able to see it here. If you remember when we were discussing Tomcat concept, right? During that time, inside the Tomcat, we have bin, config, lib, logs, everything, right? Everything is mounted to inside this particular volume. If you see here, inside this particular volumes only, inside this particular volumes. Understand, right? Any questions now? Any questions now? Now you got idea, right? So now what I'm going to do here? Now we have done this particular one well and good. Now I will be delete the container. Let's see. You can go here, Docker PS command. Now here Docker RMI. Sorry, Docker kill command. I'm using kill command, forcefully delete the container. And this is our container ID. Just I'm giving here. Now if you see here, I kill the container. Still that data is available in your volumes only. Even though if you deleted the container, if you go and check it here, Docker PS command, we don't have the container, but still the data will be existing in under volumes only. That is Tomcat volume. Under Tomcat volume, we have a data. Understand, right? That is a major advantage. Even though if you deleted the container, if you want to be maintain the persistent data, what we can do? We can use the Docker volumes. We can use the Docker volume. Understand, right? Any questions now? Now here we have what is the volume to that particular container, right? Now what you can do, you can go here, Docker. Now we have done this particular one, right? Now we have done this particular one. Any questions now? Any questions now? Next thing is we have deleted the container. The data is available. Now what you can do, again we can run that particular image to create the container, and we can attach existing value. Then we can verify whether the data is existing or not. And also what I did, right, to verify purpose whether it is really attached or not. For that one, inside this particular value, the particular Tomcat value, I have added extra files, that is Muni and Murli file. These two files I have added, and then we can attach this particular value to the new container, and then we can verify, we can go into the inside the container, and we can verify whether really it is attached or not using this value. And also whatever we have added the extra data available inside the container or not, we can verify it. Okay. So here what I'm doing, here you can see Docker images, and here you can see that Tomcat only. I'm going to use Docker run -itd -b. What is the volume name? Tomcat : and then here I'm giving the user local Tomcat. Okay. In this particular user local Tomcat, I'm going to mount, and then here you need to give the image ID. I'm giving here image ID. Now you can enter here. Okay. Now you can give it Docker PS command. Now if you see here, the container is created 6 seconds back. Okay. Now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to use Docker. I'm going to use Docker exec -it, and then here you need to give the container ID. Okay. And then I'm giving that dash. And if you see here, I'm in the user local Tomcat only. Now here you can give the ls command, and here you can see that Murli and Muni file. Murli and Muni file is available. The reason we mounted existing value, we have a data. That's why it is mounted. That's why it is mounted. Understand, right? This is the process of, this is the major uses of Docker value. Okay. And also I'm existing from here. Now I'm trying to delete this particular value. We have attached the value to the container. Now I'm trying to delete. What is happening? Let's see. Docker exit. Sorry, not exist. cd command Docker value. Okay. Docker value rm command, and just I'm giving that value name is Tomcat. Now if you see here, now you can give it here. If you see here, error response from daemon, remove Tomcat value in use. It is already using that particular value. That's why it is throwing the error. Until you delete this particular value, you can't, until delete the particular, detach the particular value to the container. Until that, you can't delete this particular one. If you see here we have a 1, 2, 3, 3 containers using this particular value, because we already killed the values also, it will be displayed. If you go and check it here, Docker PS-a, and here you can see that total we have a 3, 1. This particular one is running, 2 is we attach, right? This 3, it is already there. Okay, attached. That's why it is displaying here all. Until you delete everything, until you detach the particular value and delete the container, then you can delete this particular value. Understand, right? And next one is, right, Docker volume prune command. What are the uses of prune command? If you have any unused one, if you have any unused value, then it will be deleted. Currently, we have only one Tomcat. The Tomcat is already associated to the containers. Then when you use the Docker volume, it won't be deleted. The reason it is already associated. If any volume is created, but it is not attached to the any of the container, those volumes will be deleted. We can call it as the unused volumes. Understand, right? Any questions here? Understand, right? Any questions here? No, right? Fine. This is the usage of Docker volume. Here you have to remember one thing. You may ask question, Murli, which situation will be use it in the real-time Docker volumes? Example, some of the organizations, let's take an example as a DevOps engineer, some of the organizations, they may not be install the Jenkins in the EC2 instances. What they wanted to do, right? Instead of installing Jenkins in the EC2 instance, they wanted to run that particular Jenkins as a container. Then what we will do? We'll be create the Docker image. We'll be write the Docker file. We'll be create the Docker image and we'll be push the particular Docker image to Docker Hub or AWS ECR. Using that one, you will be pull the Docker image and we'll be run the particular Docker image as a container. The container is running, then you can able to access the Jenkins as well. That is fine. If the particular container is deleted, whatever configuration, everything inside the container, right? The particular Jenkins configuration, everything inside the container, we will be lost. Instead of that one, what we will do, right? We'll be use the Docker volumes. We'll be use the Docker volumes. Using this particular Docker volume, what we can do, we can create the volume and we can attach the volume to the container, and then particular volume will be attached to the EBase volume. EBase volume will be mount to the particular user, varlib Docker, whatever, will be mount the particular one directly. We'll be do that one as well. Okay, understand that? So this is the major uses of, this is the major uses of this particular one. And one more thing, remember, 99% of the organizations, any of the applications, they'll be deploy any microservices, any DevOps tools also, instead of running the particular tool in the as a container in the single server, what we will do, right? We'll be deploying the Kubernetes. We'll be deploying the Kubernetes. There we will be attach the particular volumes to the EBase volume or EFS to the container. And then even if the container is restarted, the data will be existing in the EFS. Okay, clear? We will be do that, but you should be aware of these particular volumes as well. Understand, right? Don't confuse, guys. Why I'm covering volumes? In entry level important. In real time, we may not be used, we may use. Some of the organizations, if they're not ready to use that EKS or ECS, then what they will do, right? If they wanted to run the particular application as a container, then what they will do, they will be running the particular container inside the EC2 instance directly. But there is a drawbacks. We don't have any scalability option when you're running this particular one. There is a little bit drawbacks as well. That is fine. Even though someone is deleted a container, it won't be created automatically. That is there are multiple drawbacks also is there. That's why majority of the organizations will be use the ECS or EKS. Still, if they are not using, any questions now? Now we are going to discussing about Jenkins installation via Docker with persistent data storage. Let's see the demo so that you will get some idea. So for that one, right here, we have a DevOps 0 to Hero series. Day 32, I already written the documentation as well. We can go through step by step and also we can implement so that you will get some idea. If you remember, earlier we have installed Jenkins in EC2 instance directly using M command, right? Instead of using M command install Jenkins and EC2 instance, some of the organizations, right, they may use to install the Jenkins using Docker as well. Okay, Docker as well. Understand, right? Now, here, first thing, if you install the Jenkins using Docker, the Jenkins default path is var Jenkins _ home. If you remember, in using M command, the default path is varlib Jenkins. Similarly, if you install the Jenkins using Docker, Jenkins default path is var class Jenkins _ home. Inside this particular var Jenkins _ home only, we'll be having all the Jenkins related configuration. Example, jobs, config, secrets, plugins, everything will be there. So what we will be do, right? Once we install using Docker, what we can do, we can set up this particular persistent data. It means like we can mount this particular path to our local, and then from there we'll be attached to the EBS value. Okay, I will show you one by one. And also, if you want in volumes, we have three types, right? Especially one is Docker volumes, second one is bind mount, third one is temp fs, right? Usually, as I said earlier, we can use the Docker volumes to mount it. So that particular whatever we mounted, it will be available under varlib Docker volumes. The problem with the Docker volumes, right? In case if you delete that particular server, what is happened? Your entire data will be lost. If you delete the container, the data is available under varlib Docker's volumes, and the particular volume under underscore data, it is there. But in case if you delete the server, what is happened? If you delete the server, you will lose the entire data. Understand, right? For that one, right? Instead of using Docker value, we are going to be use the bind mount. Bind mount is nothing but first we'll be mount to the our server path. Then from there, what we can do, we can attach extra EBS value. If you remember, extra EBS value, the particular EBS value will be attached to that particular EC2 instance, and then the particular EBS value will be mount to whatever we mounted from the particular container to your local. That example, I'm going to mount /opt/Jenkins underscore home to the particular slash where inside the container path, I'm going to mount /Jenkins underscore home. Now what is happened, right? The particular whatever we have a /Jenkins underscore home, everything will be available in the /opt/Jenkins underscore home. That is our host path. So the what I will do, right? After we done, we'll be attach that particular host path to the EBS value. Okay, and we will be mounted. Understand, right? Fine. Now here you can see that what I'm going to do. First, I'm going to install the Jenkins using Docker command. Here I'm going to explain this Docker run -d. -d is nothing but detached mode. If you want to run this particular container background, what you can do, we will be do the -d detached mode. And here you can see that name. I'm going to give the container name, that is Jenkins. And here you can see that -p is nothing but port number. And here we are mentioning that 8080 port number, 8080 port number :8080. Here you have to remember, guys, colon after is port number is the container port number. The particular Jenkins default inside the container port number, it is using 8080. Colon before is I'm going to expose to outside. Outside means I wanted to access our Jenkins outside of the particular container. Then what you can do, here I'm giving that colon before is the outside of port number. Understand, right? This is the Jenkins port number, and next -p port number, and here we mentioned that 50,000. If you remember, in Jenkins, we have two things, right? Only master node, slave node. Slave node agent, that particular port number is 50,000 only. The particular 50,000 also, I'm exposing to outside. This particular agent port number, we may not be required to expose, but this particular Jenkins port number web UI is mandatory to export. Okay? Understand, right? Understand, right? Any questions here? Fine. This particular 50,000, as I said, it is a Jenkins agent slave port number. Using this particular one, Jenkins can communicate with agents via the Jenkins remoting protocol. Using Jenkins remoting protocol, it will be communicate between master node and slave node. Example, if you want to be run the Jenkins job in the slave node, right? We will be set up the slave node, either it is Linux or Windows. If you remember in Jenkins course, we already covered that particular one. Okay. Fine. Now here you can see that -v is nothing but value. Instead of giving the value name, what I'm using here, I'm using the bind mount. Here, this is our host path. Host path is nothing but whatever we have a server, right? The particular host path /opt/Jenkins underscore home. Colon after this is the container path. Whatever container path is where Jenkins underscore home. As I said, if you install the Jenkins using Docker, Jenkins default path is /Jenkins underscore home. Whatever /Jenkins underscore home, whatever the particular Jenkins default path, I'm going to mount to our local, our host path. Understand, right? And then here I'm giving the Jenkins /Jenkins:latest. Here I'm using the latest image, guys. But in the reality, in real time, we always use the specific version. Depends on our Java-based applications. Example, if you are working one of the organization, tech only, there you have a Java 8 application, 11 application, 17 application, 21 applications. So depends on that one, we'll be choose the Jenkins version. The reason, if you install the Jenkins latest version, whatever you have a Java 8 application, 11 application, it might not be work. That's why depends on our Java based application. We always use the specific version, Jenkins version. Understand, right? But our practice purpose, that is fine. You can use the latest version or LTS version, anything is fine. So I'm going to install it. First, before going to be run this particular one, here I already created one server. Just I have mentioned the Jenkins server, and also I have connected that particular server as well. Okay, this is fine. And also you can go here. This is our Jenkins. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to download from Docker Hub only. As I said, right, here we gave that Jenkins latest command. When you run this particular, when you use this particular one, right, first it will check your local, that particular server level, whether the image is exist or not. If it is not available, it will go to Docker Hub and it will be download. If you see here, Jenkins, we are going to be using. This is sponsored OSS, open source one. And here you can see that go to the tags. I'm going to install the latest tag, right? Just type it latest. And here you can see that the particular latest tag. And here you can see that latest JDK 21, latest one, latest JDK 17. There are multiple. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the latest one. Now you can click this particular one. And here you can see that the particular image layers. Here you have to remember this particular image built by some other people. Okay, here in the particular one, here we have a different layers. Here you can see that you can come down a little bit. And here you can see that which user it is running. It is using Jenkins user. Jenkins only, and here you can see that UID is 1000 and the group ID is 1000. Remember this UID group ID we are going to be use later sometime. You will get some idea. UID is this container UID container group ID. Okay, inside the container we are having that particular one. And also as I said, the particular port number. Okay, Jenkins port number is 8080 and also agent port number, that is the slave port number is 50,000. And also as I said, right, Jenkins home directory is var_Jenkins_home. Okay, var_/Jenkins_home. Understand, right? Any questions here? Now you got some idea, right? And also here you can see that which version, Jenkins version. Jenkins version is latest, the particular latest version is 2.510. Again, I'm repeating, in real time, we won't be use the latest version. We always use the specific version. But our practice purpose, that is fine. We can use it. And also here you can see that Jenkins, the particular URL, that is updates.jenkins.io. Okay, and everything CLI plugin version, everything you can able to check it here. Please have a look this particular layer so that you will get some idea. And also if you come down a little bit under this particular Jenkins, using this particular Jenkins user running as a Jenkins user instead of root user. Okay, clear, right? Any questions now? Any questions now? So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to run this particular command. And before going to run this command, what you have to do, in your local system, you have to create inside the OPT directory, you have to create the Jenkins_home. You have to create the Jenkins_home. You can go here and then first go to the OPT directory. And here you can check it whether we have or not. If you see here, we haven't created that particular directory. Now I'm going to create it, my mkdir Jenkins_home. Okay, Jenkins_home. Now you can Jenkins_home only, right? Yeah, Jenkins_home we have given. If you give the LL command, right, this particular Jenkins_home, it is running in the root user and root group only. Root user and root group. Okay, and here you can see that root user, we have a read executive, but group we have only read executive only, and others also we have a root read executive only. We don't have write permissions for the particular except root owner or user. Okay, fine. Now what we have to do, we will be changing some later sometime, something we have to be do later. I will tell you what we have to do. Okay, now I'm going to run this particular command. Just copy this one. Now I can go here. Now here run this command. Now if you see here, Docker run -d -m, we are giving that container name is Jenkins, port number. I'm going to mount this particular container var_Jenkins home directory to our local system. That is inside the system. I'm going to do /opt/ Jenkins underscore home, the latest Jenkins slash Jenkins colon latest one. Now you can run this one. Now what will happen, right? First it will check whether this particular Jenkins and Jenkins slash Jenkins colon latest image exists or not. If you see here, currently we don't have any image. That's why it is going to be download first, and then it is created the container as well. Okay, awesome. Now you can go ahead and check it whether the container is running or not using Docker PS command. Using Docker PS command, we can check it, right? Whether the running containers container is running or not, it will be display, right? Now, if we observe here, running containers we don't have. Even though we run that particular Docker run command, we don't have. Now, if you go and check it, Docker ps-a, it will be display stopped containers as well, right? It will be display stopped containers as well, right? And here you can see that if you see here, it is stopped state. Now we need to check it what exactly why it is happened. Okay, for that one you can go here, docker logs, and then here you can give the container ID. Okay, I'm checking the logs what exactly happened. Now you can enter here. If you observe here in the Docker logs, it is throwing there like install warning, user missing read write permissions on Jenkins home directory. Jenkins home directory, that is var underscore Jenkins home. Okay, and here you can see that cannot touch the particular home directory, copy the particular logs, permission denied. Now, when you get these particular permissions, what you have to do? First thing, your Jenkins, we mounted to Jenkins underscore home. Okay, and here we have this particular read write executive only. Read write executive only for the root user. But in our case, our Jenkins is running in the Jenkins user, right? I already showcased, right? Here you can see that Jenkins is running the Jenkins user. But here we have a read write executive only. Then what you can do, right? Two options. One is you can give the full permissions to this particular one. That is the one option. Second option, right? What you can do, here we have a UID group ID, right? If you see here, we have a UID group ID, right? What you can do, whatever we have a path, whatever we have this particular Jenkins underscore home, instead of running in the root user, we'll be changing it to the particular UID group ID. Okay. Now you can go here, CH1. I'm giving that -r, and here I'm giving that UID is 1000 : group ID is 1000. Okay, and then I'm giving that Jenkins underscore home. Remember, instead of running in the root user, root group, here they have mentioned that inside that group UID group ID this one. Now what will happen, right? The container will be written that inside this particular path, whatever Jenkins OPT / Jenkins underscore home. Once we changed it, okay. That's why earlier. That's why we were getting that permission denied issue. Okay. Now you can enter. If you see here, give the LL command. If you see here, Jenkins underscore home. Earlier it was root user. Now it is changed to EC-user. Okay, fine. Because we gave that 1000, right? That's why. Okay, super. Now what you have to do? Now I'm going to run it. Before going to run it, first we need to stop that particular one. We need to kill that particular one. Okay. Kill means we need to remove that. Okay. Docker rm. And then here you need to give the particular container ID. Okay, now we have deleted. If you're not deleting, if you're trying to create, right, what will happen? We give that name, right? Jenkins, the particular container name is Jenkins, right? It will throw that error, right? Already existing the particular container name is Jenkins. Even though it is stopped or started, that doesn't matter. If it is already existing the container name, it will throw the error like, hey, the particular name is already exist. The reason right here we give that explicitly we are mentioning that the particular container name is Jenkins, right? That's why. Okay. Now you can copy this one. Now you can go ahead and run it. I'm going to run this again. Now if you see here, I'm going to run it. Yeah, it is created the container. Okay, super. Now you can go ahead and check it. Docker ps command. If you see here, now container is running. Container is running successfully. If you see here, container is running successfully. This is the container ID and what is the image ID, which command used to run this particular one, when it was created, what is the status, what is the port number we have exposed, 8080 to 8080. Okay, and also 50,000 to 50,000, right? We have exposed. Okay, and here you can see the Jenkins. The container name is Jenkins. Again, I'm going to check it whether really it is there or not. If you see here, still we can see that container is running fine. And also I'm going to check it the container logs as well. So we wanted to see that whether container is fully running or not, or we are seeing any errors. Okay, Docker log, and if you see here, okay, super, awesome. And they gave that initial admin password as well. they have mentioned that initial admin password to whenever you are setting up, right, it will ask that initial admin password. That password also here mention that. And here you can see that where Jenkins underscore home and secrets initial admin password, there we can find out the particular default password. Okay, fine. Now you can go here. Now you can go here, and here one thing, as I said, we mounted, right, Jenkins underscore home. If you go here, Jenkins underscore home, and here you can see that inside the OPT, Jenkins underscore home. This is my system, guys, not the container. Okay. And here you can see that here you can see that jobs, plugins, secrets, updates, users, var, config.xml, everything we can see it here. If you update here, it is automatically update to the inside the Jenkins as well. Understand, right? Understand, right? Now you got some idea, right? How do we mount it? How do we mount it? Now what we have to do, now we done this particular configuration, well and good, super. Now we need to be access, right? For that one, you can go here, go to the EC2, just copy the public IP. Remember, in real time, we'll be having the private IP, but our practice purpose, just I'm giving the public IP. Okay. Now you can give it : what is the port number? 8080. If you see here, I'm trying to, yeah, if you see here, sign in, I'm doing the sign in. Now I'm able to do it. The reason, inside this particular EC2 instance, go to the security group. Here, I already enable the port number is 8080. If you go here, Jenkins, if you see here, I already allow the 8080 port number. That's why you are able to access using IP address : port number, IP address : port number. And here you can see that default password you can find out here. Understand, right? You can find out the default password here. Clear, right? Any questions now? Fine. Now here we need to find out, right, where Jenkins underscore home. This is the inside the container one, but we already mounted, right? Mounted to our local. In this particular OPT / Jenkins underscore home, you can go to the secrets, and then here you can see that we have an initial admin password. Here also we can see that you don't require to go to inside the container and take that initial password, guys. We already mounted to our local server. It means it is available. Now I can give it cat command, initial admin password, and here we can find that. Just copy this one, and then you can go here, you can paste here. Okay. Now here I'm doing that, continue. And here it will ask that to set up the particular plugins, suggest the plugins, or select the specific plugins. You can select that, always recommended to select the install suggest the plugins. And here it is going to be install the specific plugins. And here you can see that we are installing that 2.510. That is the latest version. Okay. Now it is going to be installed. It may take 1 or 2 minutes to install all the plugins. Fine. Okay. Now if you see here, it is getting started. And here it is asking the username and password also I'm giving here. And then password here. And then what is the name? Mole Muralidhar Reddy. Email ID is techpolithamurli. And here I'm saving that, continue. Now here password is very common one I have given, that's why. And here you can see that in case if you want to be change that instance configuration, you can do that. Usually that instance IP : port number. Okay. Now you can save and finish. Okay. Now you can done that. Start saving, start using Jenkins. Now you understood, right? So this is the process of installing Jenkins. Okay, awesome. We have installed the Jenkins using Docker, and also we have mounted the particular path to /opt/ Jenkins underscore home. That is fine. Well and good. Now we have mounted to path. That is fine. But in case someone, one of your team member accidentally deleted this particular server, now what will happen? You lost entire data. Even though if you set up the Docker volumes, even though if you set up that bind mount, we have mounted to the particular path to the server. That is /opt/ Jenkins underscore home. That is fine. If you delete the container, the data will be exist. That is fine. But if you delete the server, what is happen? You will lost entire data, correct? You will lose the container, you will be lost the entire data. Then what we will do? For that one, what we can do, we can create the one EBase value, and then we'll be attach the EBase value to EC2 instance. Then whatever we have mounted as /opt/ Jenkins underscore home, the particular one will be mounted to EBS. Okay. So that what will happen, even though if you delete that particular EC2 instance, you won't be lost the data. You won't be lost the data. Clear, right? So now here you can see that, and also here also mention that for that one, I'm going to create the particular rebase value. Go here and left side, we have a values. In case if you are not aware of EBS values, please have a look our AWS course so that you will get some idea. Wait for 1 second. I'm checking here. Now create a value. And then here it is asking that whether GP3 or GP2, always recommended to use the GP3 only. The reason GP3 it is support both IOPS and throughput. In real time also GP3 only will be used, and also cost wise also very less only. And here practice purpose I'm giving that 100 GB, that is fine. But when it comes to the real time, we may have we may need to mention 2 terabytes, 3 terabytes, depends on that. And here you can see that one of the most important guys, available zone. Your server available zone and your server available zone and EBS volume should be in the same only, same available zone only. Your EBS volume and your server should be in the same available zone only. Then only you can able to attach that particular EBS volume to the EC2 instance. If you see here, here we have 1A only. So here also I'm going to create that EBS volume 1A and then just to create a this one. Here also I'm giving that name Jenkins. Okay, just example I have given the Jenkins. Now you can create a value. If you see here, EBS volume is created. Now if you see here, we have a 100 GB EBS volume is created. Now what you can do, select this one, go to the action, and here you can see that attach volume, and here you can select the instance. Here it will be displayed that the same available zone. It is running one, right? Select this one. And here most important, in case if you want to be attach the specific data volume, you can do that, or just you can attach this. It will it is automatically attached. Now what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to attach to this particular dev/SDF. Now you can select this one. Now we can attach this particular one. Okay, fine. Now if you see here, we have attached this particular one to the EC2 instance. Okay, awesome. So once you attach, you don't require to restart the EC2 instance, guys. We can attach how many you want. You can attach the multiple volumes as well. Okay, now we have attached the particular one, and also here you can go to the documentation as well. And here you can see that we can create either GUI, either you can create the AWS CLI as well. Now what is the next step? First, we need to be check that block devices. What are the block devices is available? For that one, we need to use the LSBLK. Okay. Now you can go here inside the server, and here I'm giving that LSBLK. LSBLK. If you see here, LSBLK, we have a the name of the LSBLK is HVDF, and what is the size is 100 GB we mentioned, right? Here we have. Okay, fine, super. Now what is the next step? First, we need to be confirm volume is empty or not. We need to be confirmed that volume is empty or not. If it is empty, we need to run this particular command. If it is not empty, we don't run this particular command, guys. Okay, first I'm going to run it file-s, that the particular device name. What is the device name? File-s. And what is the device name? HVDF, right? If it is HTTF, what you have to do? dev/HVDF. Okay. In case sometimes, right, we will be having that HVDA, some other things as well. You have to give the particular device name. /dev, we have to add it /HVDF. Now you can enter here. Now if you see here, this particular whatever we have attached just now, we don't have any data because that is EBS volume is brand new. EBS volume is brand new. That's why here it is showcasing the file-s. We don't have anything. Now, if this particular EBS volume is empty, what you have to do? We need to run this particular mkfs-t extended for dev/HVDF. Remember, guys, if unformatted, format it as extended for. If you run this particular command, guys, what will happen, right? It will be delete entire data. That's why don't run it if it is already data in this particular HVDF. But in our case, we are attached a brand new EBS volume. That's why you have to run this particular command. If it is already existing data in the particular EBS volume, okay, if you are trying to attach that particular EBS volume to the any other server, don't run this command. Don't run this particular mkfs-t extended for /dev/HVDF. Don't run this command. If you run this command, what will happen, right? Your entire EBS volume data will be lost if you run this particular command. This command we need to be run it only if you are attaching the ebase volume brand new one. We don't have any data inside the ebase volume. Just you have created the ebase volume and then you are trying to attach it. If you are trying to mount the particular ebase volume to the EC2 instance, then only you have to run this particular command. Otherwise, please don't run it. Again and again and again, I'm repeating. If you run this particular command, if the ebase volume already data exists, entire data will be lost. Entire data will be lost. Okay, understand, right? Fine. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to run it. When you will run this command, if you see here you can see that /dev, it is empty only because just now we have added. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to run this particular command. Go here, just copy this. Now you can run this. Now if you see here, it is formatted everything. Now it is good. Okay. Now if you go and check it, again, file -s /dev/hvdf. Okay. hvdf. Now if we enter this one, sorry, file, not the files. Okay. Now if you see here, earlier it was showcasing that empty one. Earlier it was showcasing that empty one. Now if you observe here, when you run this command, after you did this particular command, now here you can see that the specific block is created and also UID also generated. Okay. Now you can try to mount it. Remember when you run this particular command, this particular one, if you see this particular just empty data, then if you're trying to mount, it won't. It will throw the error. That's why what you have to do, if it is empty one, you have to run this particular mkfs. But if it is already existing data, you don't require to run this one. Don't run as well. Okay, clear. Any questions now? Now here you can see that file the specific one. What is the next one? Now we need to create the mount path. We already having that /opt/jenkins _ home. That is fine. We already having the /opt jenkins _ home. So we don't require to do anything. Now what you have to do, I'm going to mount the particular one. You can use mount /dev/hvdf, whatever we have that particular block. And then which path, what is the path, this specific one, that is the /opt/ then jenkins _ home. Now you can go here, here mount. I'm in the root user, that's why just I can give the mount. In case we are not in the root user, you can use the sudo space mount. Okay, and here dev/hvdf and then /opt jenkins _ home. Now what is happened, right? Whatever we have a opt/jenkins _ home, it will be mounted to this particular ebase value. Now you can enter. If you see here, dev/hvdf doesn't exist. Mount path, special device. Okay. If you see here, I mentioned that SVDF, not SVDF, XVDF. Okay. You can also go here, XVDF. Okay. We need to give the XVDF, not the SVDF. Okay. Now you can go ahead and run it again. I'm giving here instead of S, I give that XVDF. Now if you see here, it is mounted. How do we check it whether it is mounted or not? For that one, you can go here df-h. Using df-h, it will be display. If you observe here /opt/jenkins _ home, it is mounted to this particular 94 GB, the particular 100 GB one. Okay, /dev/hvdf. Understand, right? Clear, right? Any questions? So this is the process of mounting our specific path to the EBS value. Okay. Now we have mounted, right? In case someone is deleted the EC2 instance also, we won't be lost the data. That the reason, right? The data will be available in this particular. The data is available in this particular EBS value. Okay. Even though if you delete the particular container, even though if you delete the entire server, you won't be lost the data. Still, the data will be exist. Clear, right? Any questions? Now you got some idea, right? And here we already provide this particular permissions 1300 because this is a ownership related one. Fine. And also we have verified that df-h and we have verified that it is mounted to the particular /dev/hvdf. Now successfully we have done this one. Now we have mounted, well and good. Now if someone is restarted, right? What is happen? The mount path will be gone. Again, we need to be say mount again. Then instead of that one, what you can do, we can set up the mount permanently. For that one, what you have to do, we need to set up that FS tab. You need to set up that FS tab. Even though persistent mount after reboot, if someone is rebooted, still it should be persistent. What I'm going to tell here, right? Example, I'm going to restart this particular one. Okay. Earlier we have this particular one, right? Slash opt slash this particular one. If restart, what is happened, right? Now I'm going to reboot this. Wait for 1 second. I have rebooted this particular one. Okay. Once you rebooted this one, right? What is happened? Whatever we have, the particular slash opt slash Jenkins form we mounted, right? Slash dev slash hvdf, right? It will be gone. Again, you need to be mount it again. Okay. Now, if you go and check it, I'm going to log in again. sh-info.pem. Wait for a few seconds. Just now we have rebooted, right? It may take 45 seconds to 1 minute. We have to wait for that. Yeah, we have connected. Super. Now you can go here. Okay, now we are done. Now, if you go and check it df-1h, if you see here, whatever we mounted, the particular slash opt slash Jenkins underscore home, it is gone. Okay, understand, right? Instead of that one, what you have to do, we need to set up that inside the FS tab. If you set up the FS tab, right, even though if someone is rebooted the server, the particular whatever mounted, it won't be gone. Okay, I will also show you after declare inside the FS tab, and then I will reboot the server again. I will show you whether it is mount path is gone or not. Okay, without declaring inside the FS tab, etc slash FS tab, the particular whatever you mounted, right, the path is gone. Now what you have to do, again, we need to do mount slash dev slash hvdf and then slash opt Jenkins underscore go. Now you can enter here. Now if you see here df-h, we have mounted. Okay, super. In case if you want to be unmount, right, you can use umount. Umount means it will be unmount. Okay. Now here done this. Super. Now what is the next one? Now we have done this particular one. Well and good. You can go to the documentation. Now I'm going to set up that even though if someone is rebooted the server, the particular whatever we mounted, right, everything should be exist. Okay. For that one, what I'm going to do, I'm using BLK ID, the particular whatever device. Okay. Now if you go here, BLK ID. Now you can enter. If you give the BLK ID, enter, right, here it will be give all the related one. If you see here, slash dev slash hvdf, and here we have a FS of the particular one. What is the type extension is ext4. Extension is ext. The type of the particular value is the particular one is device is ext4. Okay. Now here just copy this one. Okay. Let me open the notepad. Using BLKID, we found that UID, the particular path, everything. Okay. First step is completed. What is the next step? Go to the etc FS tab. You can use either VAM, or VAM or Nano, whatever your wish. You can use anything. And etc FS tab. Inside the etc FS tab, you need to define the particular UID, the particular what is the path and what is the type, and the default no fail 02. You can mention this one. Just copy this one. I'm going to paste here. Okay. And then here UID, right? Instead of UID, you need to mention your UID. Just copy this particular UID. Just paste here. Okay. And then just copy this one. Go to the FS tab. Go to the FS tab. Now I'm going to here. etc. Inside the etc only, guys. That FS tab. etc. And then here you can open VAM FS tab. Now here you can see that we already having that one FS tab. Now you can give that insert more, and here you can type existing FS tab is type is HFS. Okay, but in our case our thing is ext4. Okay, now you can paste here. Now if you see here UID is equal to, we mentioned the slash opt slash Jenkins extension for defaults no failure 02. Okay, clear, right? Now this part is we have defined. Again I'm repeating here. Inside this particular FS tab, don't mention the duplicate one. Example, I have mentioned this one. If you're trying to add another one with the same everything, UID same path, everything, it will be throw the error. It won't be work. Okay. Now I have done this. Just save this one. Now we have saved it. Fine, well and good. Now if you go and check it here, whatever we mounted, right, whether it is working or not, is there any errors? Then what you can do, you can give the mount-a. Mount-a. Mount-a I'm giving. If you see here, when you give the mount-a, we don't see any errors in the particular etc fs tab. Clear, right? Any question this one? Fine. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to reboot the server again. Let's see. After we declared inside the etc fs tab, whatever we mount path, we have mentioned that. Now if you reboot the server, still the particular /opt/jenkins home directory, that whatever mounted, right, it will be exist. Okay. Now you can go here, go to that server, go to that actions, reboot the server. I'm going to reboot. In real time, guys, when you are setting not only Jenkins installation, anything, okay, we always set up that particular mount path to the inside the etc fs tab only. If you are not set up, whatever we mounted, right, if someone is rebooted, everything will gone. Again, you need to be set up the mount. But if you set up this one inside the etc fs tab, even though if someone is rebooted, again once up the server, you can see that particular what is that mount path. Okay. Now if you go and log in again, I'm going to here. Okay. Now you can go to the sudo su. Sorry. Sudo su -. Okay. Now you can give that df-h, and here you can see that, right? Whatever we have, everything we can able to see it here. Understand, right? So this is the process of mount. And also if you want to be set up the permanent mount, what you can do inside the etc fs tab will be declared. Clear, right? Any questions now? Any questions now? Now you got some idea, right? So this is the process of creating, installing Jenkins using Docker with maintaining the persistent data. Okay. Now you may ask question, Murli, you are saying added that particular one. I wanted to see that whether it is we have a persistent data or not. Okay. Now what you can do, you can go to that. Okay. You can go to that. Here we already set up that everything, right? The particular one. Now what I'm going to do. Okay. Now here you can see that we mount, we declare that everything here. That is fine. And also here, we can see that. So here you can see that. Now what I'm going to do, instead of everything, every time going to run docker run command, docker stop command. So what you can do, we can set up the service level. I mean, we can set up the shell script. What you can do, when you run this particular shell script, automatically it will start this particular Jenkins. If you run this particular stop command, stop-jenkins.sh, it will be stop the Jenkins. Understand, right? It will be remove that everything. Now here you can see that start-jenkins.sh. Here inside the start-jenkins.sh, I'm going to declare that bin bash docker run -d. What is the name of that? And -p port number, specific port number, what is the specific volume? And here you can say Jenkins/Jenkins : latest one. Okay. And using this particular command, I mean, inside this particular start-jenkins.sh, I'm going to declare this particular one. Okay. You can declare anywhere. What I'm going to do, just copy this one. Okay. Copy this one inside this particular opt directory only. And here I'm going to define that cat greater than this particular one. Start-jenkins.sh. Just copy this one and you can paste here. Now if you see here, it is done. Control D. Now if you see here, you can check that cat start-jenkins.sh. Using this command, it will start the container. And you can go with another one. Stop Jenkins. Stop Jenkins.sh. Now you can enter here. I can go with this particular one. Here you can see that this is the command to stop the write. Here you can see that first we are getting all the containers. Docker-ps-a filter. We are searching with the container name is Jenkins and format is ID. .id we are getting. And if the particular containers, it is stopping or removing the Jenkins containers, and echo we are printing whatever we have, and Docker stop. First we are stopping that, and then we are removing that whatever we have a containers, right? Everything we are going to be remove it. And here it is showcase that all Jenkins containers stopped and removed. And if you don't have any containers with this particular Jenkins, right, it will show like no Jenkins containers found. Okay. This is a small shell script, guys. Just copy this one. I'm going to paste here. and you can save this one, Control D. And here you can see that currently we don't have a execute permission. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give it chmod 777 start.sh, similarly stop.sh as well. I'm giving that full permission 777 only. And here you can see that we have a start-jenkins.sh, stop-jenkins.sh. Why I have written that shell script, right? Instead of running every time docker run command, what you can do, just we can run this one, it will be run it. Okay. First, I'm going to run it the start one. That container is already running. If you see here, docker ps command, the container is already running. Again, I'm trying to run it. What is happened? Let's see. sh start.sh jenkins.sh. Okay, now we can run this one. If you see here, I'm trying to run this particular Jenkins, start-jenkins.sh. Here it is throwing the container name. Jenkins is already in use by container. Okay, the particular container, the Jenkins name is already there. That's why it is throwing the error. Okay, now what you have to do? Two things. One is you have to delete that particular existing container and then you can run it. It will be work. Second option is you need to be change the container name. Anything's fine. But now here you can see that, right? Now what you can do, we can use that particular sh stop.jenkins. Using this particular command, right? What will happen? It will be stop the container. Now you can see it here, right? Stopping and removing the Jenkins container. First, it will be stop the container and it is deleted. Now, if you go and check it here, right? Docker ps-a, we don't have any containers. The reason we run this particular shell script, stop-jenkins.sh, using running this shell script, right? What is happening, right? It is stop the container first, and then it will be delete the container. One container only, guys. Okay, it will be stop that. It will be delete the container. Understand that? Now, if you are trying to run again the stop script, now if you run this one, right? If you see here, no Jenkins containers found. The reason we don't have any Jenkins containers. We don't have any Jenkins containers because it is showcasing that no Jenkins containers found. And also we mention here that if you don't have any containers, right, you need to be printing this particular message, that is no Jenkins containers found. Clear, right? Any questions? If you want to be stopped, you can stop. If you want to be stopped, you can start using shell script. Instead of running a manual docker command, highly recommended to mention like this. Clear, right? Any questions now? Now here you can see that summary of this particular Jenkins directory, that is container, that is var_Jenkins var/Jenkins _home. The host directory mounted is /opt Jenkins _home, and we have used that EBS. Yes, that particular dev/HVDF and persistence after reboot. Yes, we have declared that inside the etcfs tab, and the Docker images, the specific one. Instead of LTS version, we use latest version. Okay, and here one more thing you have to remember. When you are trying to install Jenkins, first you need to create the EBS value, and you need to mount that particular EBS value to the specific path, that is /opt/Jenkins _home. Usually what we did, first we have installed the Jenkins, then we created the EBS value, we mounted the particular path to the /var/Jenkins _home. When you do this one, what will happen, right? Whatever we have existing data, it won't be mount. Whatever we have existing data, it won't be mount to the EBS value. Always recommended to first create the EBS value. First, you have to decide whenever you are going to install the Jenkins, which mount path you are going to do that. First, to create the EBS value, mount that particular EBS value, and then install the Jenkins using Docker. First installing the Jenkins and then add that particular mount. If you do that one, right, whatever existing configuration, it won't be available inside the EBS value. And one more thing, remember, not only EBS value, we can also use the EFS as well. But highly recommended is EFS, usually in the real time, but depends on use cases. The problem is EBS, right? EBS, it will be work only within the same available zone only. It means your server is easy to 1 year available zone. Your EBS value should be 1 year available zone only. Then only you can able to attach it. Got it, right? Any questions now? Now you got some idea how do we install? One of the most important question in entry level. Hey Murli, how do you manage your Jenkins? Usually when you are doing the practice, we can say like, hey, we are installing Jenkins in one of the EC2 instance, and the particular varlib Jenkins we are mounting the particular path. You can tell that that is the one option. But majority of the organizations, 2 to 3 years back, we were installing the Jenkins in the EC2 instance. But currently, most of the organizations, they are trying to do the containerization. Example, directly inside the EC2 instance, they'll be run that container. If they are not using any EKS or ECS, right, what they will do, instead of running that individual server, standalone server, will be running as a container, okay, and then we'll be mount the particular part of the specific mount path inside that, and then the particular mount path will be attached to the EBS file name. Even if someone is rebooted the server, right, deleted the container, your data should be exist. And also I wanted to show you, if you see here, we mounted, right, and here you can see that currently we have stopped. That's why now if you go here, I'm going to start this particular container now. Okay, finally I wanted to show you. Now you can give the docker ps command, container is running. If you go and check it here, right, whatever we have configured, example, we have configured that username Murli, okay, and also we have logged in, right, everything you can see it. It won't ask again from scratch. It won't ask again from scratch because we mounted that EBS volume. That's why EBS volume, the data is already existing. That's why it is, you can able to directly use this particular username and password. Just I'm giving that username and password, and then you can install the sign into the particular Jenkins. Understand, right? It is not asking like provide that initial password, provide the particular initial password, and also set up that install suggested plugins. It is not asking because we already mounted to EBS, right? That's why it is not asking. Okay, clear, right? Any questions now? Any questions now? So this is the one of the most important. Just we can recap what we did. We installed the Docker. We created the EBS value. We mounted the EBS value into the specific path, and we set up that as a shell script. Instead of running every time manually Docker run command, we set up this shell script. The reason we wanted to do that quickly to start the container. That is the reason. That is the one thing. And also here, if you set up the service shell script level, right? In case if you want to do some automation through shell script, if you want to do start or stop, right? You can easy to do that. That's why we always recommend it to do that shell script. Okay, here you can see that it will be run. If you want to be run it, if you want to stop, you can do that one. And one thing you have to remember, in real time, we won't be use the latest version. Please don't tell in interview level, hey Murli, if someone is asked, hey Murli, can you please tell me how do you choose the Jenkins version? If you say simply, hey, we'll be use LTS version. Hey, we'll be use latest version. If you say like that, right? What is the problem here, right? They immediately ask you, hey, if you have a Java 8 application, is it support latest Jenkins version? No, it won't be support. The reason you have to tell, hey, it depends on my application version. Example, Java 8, 11, 17, 21. Depends on that one, I will be choose the Jenkins version. I will be choose the Jenkins version. We won't, we are not using latest version. The reason, if you use the latest version, whatever we have a Java-based application, especially Java-based application, if we have a Java 8 application, the Java 8 application, it won't be work in the latest version. It means it won't be work means it won't be build that particular Java 8 applications. If you're trying to deploy you through Jenkins, right, it won't be work. The reason we may get that compatibility issues. That is the reason we won't be use the latest version. Not only Jenkins, guys, any tool, we won't be use the latest version. Clear, right? If you say like we are using latest version, they can immediately know, okay, this person is not working the real time or not aware of real time work. Okay, not aware of real time work. Clear, right? Any questions now? If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me via LinkedIn, Instagram, Telegram. And also we have a Tech World with Murli website. In this website, I already published all the DevOps related courses. Here we have a DevOps, AWS, Kubernetes, Terraform, AWS networking, AWS DevOps 0 to Hero series, Helm logging and monitoring. Here we have a 1 month, 6 months, 1 year plans available. If you want, you can enroll here. And still, if you have any questions, feel free to comment. I will try to respond as soon as possible. Thanks for watching this video. We'll see you next video.